Welcome to this tutorial on using SPSS to make sense of data about violent programs on TV and displays of aggressive behavior. The example for this tutorial is on page 14 of the textbook Essential of Statistics for Behavioral Sciences, and the textbook is by Graventer and Wallnau. Research question: is there a relationship between the amount of violence that children see on television and the amount of aggressive behavior? 18 kids are selected randomly from the population. This is an experimental research design in which one variable is whether children watch or don't watch TV programs with violence. The variable 1 is violence, and it has two values. Number 1 means that they watch TV programs with violence, and number 2, they don't watch such programs. Variable 2 is display of aggressive behavior. It is measured by the number of aggressive instances between 0 to 4. We will use the textbook data and SPSS. The goal is to enter data into SPSS. Then we will let SPSS to organize and visualize the data for us. You know, this can happen with the click of mouse, few clicks of our mouse, and then we will make sense of this data. First, we will go in variable view and we'll enter our two variables. One is the amount of violence on TV, label on TV. As you know, we put label because the name should be only one word, and this of course is a string type of variable. I will give it values. The value of this variable 1 means that the children are watching violent movies or programs, and 2, no violence. Okay. The first variable is ready. This is the variable that the researchers are controlling. They can make sure that some children are watching videos, others are not, and they don't allow anything else to interfere with this variable to be just the only one independent variable. The second variable is aggression. And this is a numerical variable, of course, and this is aggressive behavior. And variables are ready. Of course, here the scale is ordinal or nominal variable. So now I have violence, and I have 9 instances of violence, and we'll copy this. Should be no violence here. Control C, will copy this. Control V. Or they can be violence or not violence. Now let's enter the data. We have 4. Oops. This is also with violence. And then no violence, 0. Now I will form 2 groups. We'll take the first group and we'll split. We'll copy and we'll put the first group somewhere in here. This is the group with violence, and then we'll copy no violence group, all the data, and we'll put it next to it. So variable 12 and 13, let's go and change variable 12, violence, aggression with violence, and the second one would be no violence. So I split one variable is creating groups, 2 groups. This variable is control in research, and then I will graph these 2. So you can see that there are a lot of children who actually are on the right side, which means a lot of aggression. And then we will do graph, histogram, and let's see the frequency distribution if kids don't watch violent programs. So this is when they don't watch. You can see immediately that they have much less violent behavior. I will copy this, Control C, copy, and will place it in PowerPoint. Immediately see that here it stops at 3 and very few have 3. Here it continues and most kids displaying a lot of instances of have more aggressive behavior.